A purposeful, profitable, full-time artist career is waiting for every single one of you watching this video, and you probably already have the business idea in your head. The half-written songs are probably already in your hard drive, and you even secretly dream about being a full-time artist every single night. But when you wake up in the morning, you feel afraid to listen to that voice inside your head. And for years, I was like that too. And I was lying to myself that I preferred a 9-to-5 life and having my side hustle rather than living in my true power. And if anyone ever asked, I would shrink my ambitions for my YouTube channel, my coaching, or living full-time from my art. And all of it can be done with the power of social media. And so there's two things you're going to need to replace your income and live as a full-time artist. Right? And we're going to dive into it together. We're going to figure out, number one, what you're going to offer, and number two, how to build a structure to offer it. And the truth of the matter is that your streaming numbers, your streaming revenue is not going to be enough to help you sustain your life as a musician. But the power of building your brand will. And so no matter who you are as an artist, no matter where you're starting, no matter how many followers you have, how many streams you currently have in your ecosystem, it can all change. But you need to build the right social media system to power everything else. So for example, out of all the different ways of making money, if you've not got enough gigs, you're creating the wrong type of content to manifest more. If you're not getting enough streams, you're creating the wrong type of content that can increase the number of people going from your short form content over to the streaming services. If you're not getting enough, coaching inquiries in your DMs, having people ask you to work with them, you are not creating the right type of content that's making people want to reach out. It all begins with the power of your content. And so let me make this clear. You do not have to listen to this advice. This is only what has worked for me, worked for the artists I've helped in my friendship circle and my clients. But you can do you, right? In fact, most of you aren't even going to finish this video, so you're not even going to get to the gems of how to build a £500 to £1,000 per month business on top of your salary. That's the starting place. And then eventually you can do what I've done for myself, is make each of the income streams a £1,000 a month target. And if you have 7 of those revenue streams, you're laughing all the way to a full-time music career. But myself, I've actually chosen to live a 50-50 life, where half of my revenue comes from coaching, courses, digital products, lectures, brand sponsorship deals, affiliate products, and more. Half of my revenue in my life comes from there, my music life. And it's crazy that I haven't even shared this that much, but half of my life is at an influencer advertising agency where I work as a paid media director. And so what I'm about to share with you is how you can work out what you're going to offer. So if you're feeling lost, if you don't know what product you're going to use, the answer is already stuck inside your head. You just haven't realized it yet. So we're going to break down what you're going to offer, how you're going to offer it, by doing a little exercise. And this is a Japanese philosophy called Ikigai. You might have seen this diagram before. And it basically explains that your true purpose in life, your reason for being, is at the intersection of 4 different elements in your life. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. So I want to just share maybe my perspective on how I found my Ikigai. I had 4 failed businesses before I started All About Helping. A blog, a magazine, being an artist manager, having a co-ownership in a record label, all of them didn't work. Because while I may have been good at them, while I may have loved them, maybe the world didn't need them, or maybe I couldn't get paid for it. And so if one of these elements are lacking, you live a life without fulfillment. But at that middle point where you've got all of them together, then there's some true magnetism that you can unlock. And so what you love, you already know that. This is what you do when no one's asking you to, when you're not getting paid. This is how you unwind. So that might be singing, and that might be producing, or that might be, playing an instrument. You love doing that thing. It's what got you into music in the first place. So you already know what you love. And so I want you to write that down in the first circle I want you to draw draw a big what you love and write down inside of it all the things that you love. But also include your passions, things like traveling, things like coffee, things like, sports, the gym, if whatever you're into, write it all down inside your first circle, just so you have an all-inclusive list. Everything that matters to you in the world is what you love. For me, I began as a DJ, right? These decks are now gathering dust, how little I use them. But when I was young, I would love nothing better than making a mixtape of my favorite independent SoundCloud songs. And I actually got to a point where I was, ignoring the harsh realities of the world. Because when something got too intense for me to handle, I would just put on my headphones and DJ. I was a broke, unemployed stoner who was running away from my problems rather than facing them head on and figuring out how am I going to get myself out of the situation. If your only income was coming from Bandcamp sales of your mixtape, something's wrong. And you need to address that in your life rather than hide away from it. Because it is not shameful, right? But you do need to figure out a solution. And so what you love is your first thing you're going to write down. What you're good at is completely different. I found social media. I didn't always love it. In fact, I got let go from 6 different social media jobs and got fired or made redundant, or my contract came to an end and they didn't renew me. And it created anxiety, but I kept working at it to figure out how to become one of the best in the world at social media. And I'm on that growth trajectory. And so what I loved was working with a musician I believed in and helping them come up with a plan for social media. What are you posting on Instagram? What are you posting on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook like pages, on YouTube? I love the hustle of building the plan. And we'll get onto it, but that is exactly what my business is today, helping artists just like you scale from around that 10,000 streams per song result up until 100K streams or even multiple 6-figure streams as you chase your million streams per song. And there's different content you have to create on Instagram and TikTok and all the other channels, different content for 10K, different content for 50K, and different content for 100K plus. And so that is what I'm good at. And I realized it. And so you need to write down what you're good at. So maybe it still is the thing you love. Maybe singing is your passion and your thing that you're good at. And that's amazing if it is. But if it isn't, maybe you're good at sound design. Maybe you're good at, protecting your voice. Maybe you're good at, working out. Maybe you're good at dance choreography. Maybe you're good at something that is still creative, but it's not the thing you love. So again, write another list of what you're good at in your life. Like next, your third bucket is what the world needs. So think how many other people ask you for advice, ask you for help, ask you for a recommendation. Like a lot of people ask me, how do I grow on social media? A lot of people might ask me like, oh, what lighting do you have? What camera do you have? How did you make your content look so good? How did you edit that? And so you start realizing what the world needs by the questions they ask you and the solutions that you provide. And so you're starting to get the picture, I hope by now, that, oh, I love singing. I'm really good at protecting my voice. The world needs to learn how to sing, right? You're beginning to build your business for yourself. I love producing, right? I'm really good at sound design. Right? People want beats, or people want to learn how to produce, or people want, the skill set of doing what I do. So write down everything that you think the world needs to learn. And finally, as you guessed, like the fourth bucket is what you can get paid for. So are people willing to buy a course from you about how to produce? Are they willing to have you teach them how to protect their voice, how to use their voice more effectively when singing, how to songwrite, or whatever your thing may be? At that intersection, that ikigai, the overlap between what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for is your true purpose. And that is a business idea waiting to happen. And the thing that most musicians get twisted is they cannot detach their artist name from their business. And so in some cases, if I said to you, find different restaurants all around London and offer to sing, covers or lo-fi ballads while they're eating, Some of you will say, no, I don't want to do that. It doesn't reflect my brand. But your brand and your business are sometimes separate. You can get paid 75 to 150 pounds per night to sing without anyone knowing your name. They didn't come to the restaurant for you. You are part of the background furniture. Like, you are part of the ambience that they didn't care about, but they happen to enjoy. And so it doesn't affect your brand because you don't have to, if you don't want to, put any of this content on social media. You can. There's a way to pivot and say, performing 4 nights this week, can't wait to get behind the mic, but you don't need to advertise the venues. You don't need to, promote these in advance. You can only share content from them if you wish, if it suits your narrative. But we'll get on to how to finance it, how to structure it. We'll get on to how you can structure a monthly revenue stream from doing this. But my point is this: detach your brand from your business. If you were giving people vocal coaching lessons, I am not asking you to use your main Instagram account to get business. Like, I am not asking you to post a flyer advertising your service. There's a way of maneuvering this, which I'll come on to in a couple of minutes, that you can use your DMs, you can maybe use a secondary account, you can use a separate website to direct people to find out a little bit more, but your fans don't have to know about this, just your clientele. And I've done this for years. At the beginning, I began with just one service. I helped people one-to-one build their social media plan. Over years, I added more things into the mix. I pre-recorded some of the most important parts and put it into a course. After that, I made the course even simpler. I made it into a book. After that book, I made it even simpler, and I turned it into a group coaching program where I taught 20 people at the same time, and we ran through all the motions. I took that even further when I talk on my YouTube channel about the exact topic we are dealing with. I'll make a mention of a brand sponsor, and they'll pay for that spot. Because if you are a musician, you'll want to work with someone like DistroKid to put your songs on streaming services. Right? So we can talk about DistroKid right now. It's probably the good moment to do that. I've been having this conversation with a lot of different artists, and picking the right distributor is so important. You want to work with somebody that has your infrastructure as a top priority, uploading it onto the right artist profile at the date and time that you choose, with the track listing, the waterfall strategy, the lyrics, the credits, everything that you want done. DistroKid will happily facilitate. And I know so many other distributors who take a percentage of all your royalties, and they say they're going to pitch you to playlist, and they say they're going to give you all these fancy features, but often they'll let you down. And so many of my clients have rejoined the DistroKid family after going away, trying out, thinking the grass is greener, but they came back home. And so if you are ready to rejoin the DistroKid family, or you've never signed up, I'll give you a 7% discount using my link. And that is distrokid.com/VIP/all-about-helping. And so with this first half of this video, I hope it's clear that you now know what you're offering, right? So comment below. I actually want to know. Comment below what your new business idea is. And I want to actually go through the comments and read some of the amazing things you're starting as a result of watching this. And so now you know exactly what you're offering. It's time to build a social media system to offer it. And the best way to begin is to split your month up into weeks and split your weeks up into days. In a typical month of 4 or 5 weeks, if you know you want at least one consulting gig, one performance, one course sale, one sample pack sale, one vocal coaching lesson, whatever your thing is, you need to figure out, okay, I need to get one a week. How many pitches do I need to do to close one sale? So maybe aim for 10. If I pitch 10 times, I might close one. And so as you're working through your week, you can look at the weeks ahead and go, I have nothing booked in for next week. How many more messages do I have to send today to set up 15 conversations for next week? Like, I have to be disciplined and not allow myself to start doing what I love. I can't go and produce a new beat or start singing a new song until I have closed my business for next week. I'm not going to allow myself to rest until I have my revenue sorted. These are one of the things that I never understand about artists is that, they get busy with building their brand, which is not paying them a salary. And they get so busy spending money, booking in shoots and booking in videographers and paying graphic designers when they're just bleeding money that they've earned from their 9 to 5 or that they've saved up, and they have nothing new coming in. So when you prioritize, how can I secure the bag first, then everything else will fall into place. And so this is how I would do it. And you don't have to take this advice. This is purely what has worked for me. How I live my life is I know how secure I need to be because I button up the hatches first, and then I'll spend afterwards. And so if you need to do 1 vocal coaching lesson a week, you need to know to get 10 sales, I'll need to give 1 hour a day to message 50 people. Off the 50, 5 will reply. Off the 5, 1 will take a call with me. Off the 10 calls I have in this week, I'll close 1 deal at 150, 75, 100, 150 pounds. If you stack that up, right, that is 500 to 1,000 pounds a month. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. 500 to 1,000 pounds a month from you just taking it part-time. Then you take it a little bit more seriously. Maybe it's your 1,500 to 2,500 pound a month business, right? Then if you buy back your time, that 9 to 5 that you're doing, if you're making as much or more, ideally, you can then say, I will buy myself 40 hours a week by doing this hustle full time. And I will do my music as my passion project. And this is where you start to unlock a true power in your life. Now, I've been there, right? It is anxious as hell. You do have to wonder where the next paycheck is coming from. But back then, I didn't have a social media system. Most of the products I actually offer nowadays were things that I was using as shortcuts for myself. That's what I mean when I say the business idea is already in your head and the secret is already on your hard drive. Even though streaming isn't a lucrative moneymaker, there's probably 20, 30 half-written songs, half-baked ideas in your hard drive that could be your next viral song. But instead, what you artists are doing, I speak to friends like you all the time, is you're more excited by the 2024 music that you're making, and your 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 music is falling by the wayside. You keep pushing the goals even further, saying, I'll build the perfect campaign for this. I'll slot it in next month or 2-3 months from now. And you're making life harder for yourself. Rather than just putting that music out there every 4 to 8 weeks, doing a soft release, spending not a penny on the actual campaign. You film all the content for free with a friend. You edit it yourself rather than paying anyone. You just take the time it takes to subtitle it, do the cuts, do the zoom-ins, do the effects, do everything, right? You design the artwork yourself using a free tool, right? You hustle your way through everything, and you will start to stack and compound your streams. And this is my mentality, to bootleg everything until you can afford to buy your time back. And so this is your challenge. Number 1, I want you to find your ikigai and use that to build a product offering or a service offering separate from your music. Number 2, I want you to figure out a social media system, how you're going to sell it. Whether that is creating a new Instagram account altogether just to DM people. Whether that's using an existing account but not making any posts about it, you're only speaking to people you already know. Or number 3 is designing a brand new website and linking people out to that website to have conversations after they've read some copy or after they've watched a video, whatever it may be. I want this to be the year that artists can secure the bag purely by watching my content. Like if I create such free value that you think, damn, I made £1,000 just by watching this video, I can certainly learn even more when I join one of Yaz's coaching programs, when I buy his courses, his books, when I listen to the things that he's doing as his own case study. Yeah, I could learn even more. And that's where I want to be. I'm making this the year where I'm going for impact over income. Right? I want to serve artists at the highest level so that if streaming is your goal, I have ways I can help you go from 10K streams towards 100K streams. The secret to that is by getting 10K per month per song with the right type of content. If brand sponsorships is your goal, I'll show you how I got my brand sponsorships for Symphony and Opus and Playlist Supply and Pirate Studios and DistroKid and more. And I've created a salary from those guys, how I can create content and get paid to do it. If your goal is to get gigs, I can show you how I got DJ bookings, how I've helped my clients go on headline tours, how to sell out your shows in other towns, how to create merch if that's one of your goals. Rather than buying your stock and sitting on a whole living room full of t-shirts, there's a new way of doing it. And I'm partnered with a company called Printful, and there's others out there that you print on demand. I want to show you all of these tricks. I'm hoping to make the best content of my life in the months to come, and I want to serve 1 million artists by the end of next year. And so share this to a homie who needs to hear this, and I hope you comment below what is your ikigai and what is that new business you're deciding to build.